Hello guys, it's Andreas from Vaping Eliquids. Anyway, I'm wearing the hat today. So, traffic outside, wearing my hat, that means it's serious talk this time. What we want to discuss today, guys, is I've just been doing some research online. I like to read a lot, and one of the articles that I came across was an old article about what is vaping, and this was some 3 years back. Now, the thing about this what is vaping article is 3 years ago, obviously things are moving at such an incredibly fast rate now, and the technologies that are coming out are so fast and coming out so much, there's so many things that are coming out throughout the months that 3 years ago, what was out 3 years ago and what's out now is almost, you don't even recognize what was out 3 years ago, nowadays. So one of the things that I wanted to quickly go into is when people come into the store, there's a lot of misconceptions about how to use an electronic cigarette. Now, if we just take the smoker, and this is where I want to start with. If we just take the smoker and you look at it as a smoker will come into the shop and they'll say to me, I want to stop smoking. I say, no problem. All right. The usual disclaimers, obviously get the papers out, this is not a smoking cessation device, part 2, article A, B, and so on, right? But in a nutshell, they want to stop smoking, and they will ask me, what's the best unit to use, what's the best thing to do, what's the best liquid, what's the best strength, and so on and so forth. And it's the standard. They'll bring the packet of cigarettes out and they'll say, well, I'm on 7 milligrams of nicotine in X packet of cigarettes, so I want something as close to that as possible. We as vapors know that it doesn't kind of work that way. People who smoke the lowest cigarettes with maybe 1 milligram of nicotine, tend to use 18 or 16 milligram juices. Or maybe 12s, you can't really work it out like that. So you can imagine it starts in one place, but then it's not just a question of saying, well, here's a unit, here's your liquid, off you go, because then it's down to the individual and their smoking needs and their smoking habits and how they smoke throughout the years. And then on top of that, you've got to factor something else in. Because it's a battery and it runs out and it takes, say, a day to run out, people can use it more frequently. So it doesn't run out like a cigarette does and you throw it away. It ends up being a unit that you use and you use and you use. So the whole experience is different. That's what I'm getting at. The whole vaping experience is completely different. And some people have in their minds that if I smoke, say, 20 cigarettes a day, and there is no slider that can say, I smoke 20 cigarettes a day, I need this unit with this liquid, and that's the one fits all for a 20-a-day smoker. It just does not work, because what people do is they will grab a unit, they're happy with their purchase, they try it in the store and they say, oh, this is amazing, they leave, and then 2 days later they come back and say, oh, that liquid didn't last me a week like you said it would, and so on and so on, I need more liquid. So we've got to kind of look at it as, and this is more of an informative thing, but you've got to kind of look at it as, people start with something small and then they end up wanting to elevate and elevate and elevate, and I think this is the trap that some people get kind of stuck in, where they will buy a small unit, it will do the job for a certain amount of time, and then they feel like they need something more, so they'll come back and say, well, I need something more powerful, so you sell them the next thing, and then they come back, and this is where I stop. Some people don't do this, but this is where I do. I don't like continually selling people this, bigger and better things. If they truly want to move up in their vaping experience, and that's fine, but if they're doing it for the wrong reasons, I'll say, look, you don't really need it. Maybe it's better for you to just, see how you get on with this and maybe up the nicotine and see how that goes. Because if you start at, say, 20 quid and then you end up spending 30 quid and then you end up spending another 50 quid and then you end up, to progressively get bigger and bigger and bigger, you end up going from something like this, to something that's like half a ton of steel in your pocket, So, it's more of an experience. You've got to kind of look at it as, is this doing what I need? And the store owner or the online store is responsible for giving the information required for people to make an informed decision. I don't think it's very important, is what I'm trying to say, right? To separate the just selling something for the sake of selling something and actually educating that person, right? So when they leave, they are educated enough to know that, yes, I've started here, I've moved up to this because I feel it's a better fit for me, but I don't really need to go past that point, just because this guy says I do, or just because that article says I do, or just because this online store says I do. I think it's important for people to find their sweet spot and stay there, and that's when they will benefit from saving money, saving their health, and so on, instead of, because what I'm trying to say is you don't want to switch from smoking to vaping and the vaping end up costing you more than smoking. It doesn't make any sense. although the health benefits are far more important than the actual monetary savings that you're going to be doing, it still doesn't make sense to keep progressing and progressing and progressing when there's really no reason. So my advice really, sorry guys, camera, there we go, sorry. My advice is for anybody that's watching this video, is to start with something. And if you already have a vaping device, if it's not enough for you, go back to a person that you trust, get the right information, and really ask the question, do I need to spend 60, 70, 80 pound or whatever it's going to be on that mod right there, or on that electronic cigarette, or do you have a better solution for me? You know, and there's nothing wrong with asking pertinent, hard questions. You know, the person who's selling it to you should be informed enough to be able to give you. Do you mind? I'm trying to do a video here. Should be educated enough to give you a solid answer, right? And to educate you in a way that, one, gives you what you need, which is the most important thing, and two, when you walk away, you're happy with what you've got. And that's pretty much it. So I hope this video is informative, guys. The usual, Christmas is coming. We want snow. Please, please, please. All right, guys, get your shopping in early. Talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao, ciao.